received 2 questions. How are stub year credits allocated, and how can an investor's interest be acquired so that the investor receives the full year credits? These 2 credits are not addressed by Section 42 or by any pronouncement from the IRS or any case law from the U.S. courts. Consequently, conclusions I provide later to these questions raised are my opinion only, and may not be relied upon as authority for a tax position reported on a building owner's tax return. Before explaining how to determine credits for the first year of the credit period in stub year credits, I will start by showing how annual tax credits are determined after the first year, and will first introduce 3 components included in the tax credit formula. First, the applicable fraction considers occupancy of a building by determining the smaller of 2 fractions, the first of which divides the number of low-income units by the total residential units, and the second of which divides floor space of low-income units by total floor space of the residential units. For this purpose, a low-income unit is rent restricted and occupied by individuals meeting the applicable income limitation. Second, eligible basis of a building is generally its cost, but this cost may be increased by 130% if the building lies within a qualified census tract or a difficult development area. A difficult development area is determined by HUD each year, and HUD will generate annual list of both qualifying areas. The DDA status is secured upon receiving an allocation of 9% credit in the list year, or for bond finance buildings upon first to occur in the list year of either bond financing or placement in service. And I'll refer to these as the DDA conditions. Another means for securing the DDA designation is upon filing a complete application in the list year under the 730-day rule and satisfying the DDA conditions within this 2-year time frame, or filing in the list year the initial application describing a multi-phase project, setting forth the number of credit buildings and the completion dates of each phase, and applying for credits for each phase in subsequent years. Third, the applicable percentage is either 4% for any tax-exempt bond finance building and any existing building, or 9% for a new building or rehabilitation expenditures for existing buildings that are not financed by tax-exempt bonds. The low-income credit under Section 42 is computed for each taxable year by multiplying the applicable fraction by eligible basis to arrive at qualified basis, and then multiplying qualified basis by the applicable percentage. Before I answer the 2 questions presented, I need to explain additional terms and information. The credit period of a building is a 10-year period beginning in the year the building is placed in service, or by election of the taxpayer, the succeeding year. The first year of the credit period is a period of 12 months that ends with the taxpayer's taxable year end. If a partnership placed a building in service on June 6, 2021, has a December 31st year end, and no election is made to defer the start of the credit period for the succeeding year, The credit period would begin January 1st, 2021 and end December 31st, 2021. The credit period would end in 10 years on December 31st, 2030 in this example. To earn full credits without recapture, the building must comply with Section 42 through the end of the 15-year compliance period, which would end in this example, December 31st, 2035. In the first year of the credit period, credits are determined for each building by computing monthly applicable fractions. The applicable fraction is taken into account as long as the building is placed in service on the first day of the month and the occupancy of the building is determined on the last day of the month. Then all the monthly applicable fractions having low income occupancy are added together, and this sum is divided by 12. You then use this result for the applicable fraction to compute credits for the first year of the credit period. Any portion of the annual credits that are not earned in the first year of the credit period are allowable for the first taxable year following the credit period. The stub year credits are a portion of the annual credits that are delivered in the 11th year of the compliance period, since that is the taxable year following the credit period, as we announced earlier. Since the stub year credits are allowable for this 11th taxable year, it follows that credits are fully earned at the end of the 11th year on the basis that after the first year, all credits are earned at the end of the year. Regarding the acquisition of the investor's interest, Section 42F4 provides that credits for the year that are allocated between the transferor and transferee of an interest are based on the number of the days during the year the transferor and the transferee held the interest. However, Rev Rule 9138 Q&A 5 provides that in the case of a disposition during the month, the party that holds the interest the longest during the month receives the entire credit for the month. If the transferor and transferee hold the interest the same number of days during the month, the monthly credits are allocated to the transferor. Therefore, the acquisition of the investor's interest should occur on December 17th of the year if the credit period coincides with the calendar year, and the investor will be entitled to receive the full credits for the stub year in this case.